200. And what a better way to celebrate a 10th anniversary with 72 points back of Kenny Wallace, Jimmy Hensley, Chuck Bound, and last year's Rookie of the Year, Joe Nemechek, rounding out the top 5. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch, along with former NASCAR champion Ned Jarrett, also former winner here at Darlington, and welcome to our Busch Series coverage. And Ned, a youth movement atop the Busch Series standings and points. Both Bobby Labonte and Kenny Wallace, less than 30 years of age, but youth ran well last week at Bristol, but here at this track, experienced the premium.
Well, in fact, Bobby Labonte ran good here last 2 races in the Busch Series, but he came home second in those races. In all of the conventional races they've had here at Darlington, only one regular in the Busch Series has won, and that was Jack Ingram. So I think it does favor the experience and the Winston Cup drivers that are in the field.
Let's take a look at this tough track today. These drivers will be competing on the track too tough to tame. It's 1.366 miles, a mile and 3/8. In other words, a pole speed, a new record, 158.899 miles per hour. Race length, 147 laps. Field separation, extremely tight, just a little less than 3.5 seconds. Today, Sears diehard starting grid, and the winningest driver in Busch competition at this track, Harry Gant, will lead the charge for the first time ever on the pole in a Busch Series race this year. Alongside him, April's pole sitter, Jimmy Hensley. Back to row 2. Todd Bodine making only his second start. Remember his great run back in April. And there's our point leader, Kenny Wallace. Back in row 3, there's Chuck Bound, last year's national champion in Busch racing, and the young man who ran so well here back in April, Michael Waltrip. Look for a good run from him in the Pennzoil Pontiac. Back to row 4, Warwick Burton. Now, this young man has a new ride here for this race. Watch him to be strong. And, of course, the veteran, you saw him earlier, Darrell Waltrip in the car number 17. Row 5, Davey Allison yet to pick up his first Busch win of the year, but he'll be a contender today. And Ernie Irvin, who has not finished a race in this car, he hopes to change that today. Back to row 6, Morgan Shepherd, always strong at this racetrack. He'll be driving his own Texas Pete Ford Thunderbird. And Kenny Schrader, who hasn't run here in a year or so in Busch racing, hoping to get back into form. Taking a look at the rest of our starting lineup, Ned. Jack Sprague should be awfully strong back in the Fred Turner-owned car number 48. Bobby Labonte will be strong back in row 8 alongside the veteran Dale Earnhardt.
There are some good drivers back in the field. Phil Parsons had an awfully good run. He's starting in 10th row in the spring race here, coming home in 4th place. So I think we'll see some drivers sort of move up through the pack. There's Butch Miller back there and Dale Jarrett, who has won the last 2 races here in the Busch Series at Darlington.
Tommy Houston still looking for win number 1 in 1991. We'll start outside row 14. Look back through the field. 38 starters today. Elton Sawyer had a good run last week at Bristol. Brought that car out 12 spot. Troy Beebe from the West Coast, a Southwest Tour veteran. Robert Presley. Remember, his crew chief is Ricky Pearson. Jeff Purvis making his second Busch Series start. And Billy Sandridge making his initial start in 1991 in Busch Grand National Racing. For the 13th consecutive year, ESPN is pleased to provide the most extensive motorsports coverage in the world. We certainly hope you enjoy today's Speed World coverage of the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series. Gatorade reporter Benny Parsons won the last 2 Gatorade 200.
Well, that was last year that he won this race, but momentum means a great deal in auto racing, just like any sport. And Dale Jarrett is on a roll. A couple of weeks ago, he won a Winston Cup race in Michigan. Last Friday night in Bristol, Tennessee, he won the Busch Grand National race. He is definitely on a roll. The only problem, he's starting back in 24th. He makes a habit of that. It's kind of exciting to watch him go to the front, but one of these days, it might bite him. And we're going to have a camera, Ned, watching him for you.
Well, Benny, remember, Dale Jarrett a year ago started 28th and brought that Nestle's Crunch Pontiac to victory lane. Back in April, he started 6th, so he'll have his work cut out for him. A lot of talented drivers up front as they pair up now 2 by 2. And the Pontiac pace car getting ready to pull away has now pulled off the track. And we're getting set for green flag racing action. Carl Simmons on top of the flag stand, trying to hold the field in tow as they get ready for the green flag. The 25th event of the 1991 season here in Busch Series racing. Glad to have you with us. The green flag flies, and Harry Gant will lead the shuffle into turn 1. By 4 car lengths now over Jimmy Hensley, but Todd Bodine will slide beneath Hensley in turn 3 and take the second spot away. But Harry Gant is pulling away as they come out of turn 4 at 160 miles an hour.
Van Ness opened up a good lead here in the early going, Jerry. His car was very fast, obviously, in qualifying because it did set a new track record. But here's a couple of drivers running side by side. The car number 27, Ward Burton, going by, taking over the position from Chuck Brown.
We mentioned that Ward Burton would be awfully strong. He was one of the faster cars in practice, although he has never been to Darlington in this car. That's the Walt's Big 8 Hot Dog Buick. And you see Davey Allison here beginning to make a move. Right behind him is Allison in the Avalon Buick. Right behind him is Kenny Wallace, the point leader, and Morgan Shepherd makes the move to the inside.
There's Ernie Irvin in the yellow car. That's Morgan Shepherd's black car with the bright bumpers on it. Here's Ernie Irvin trying to make a pass on the inside of Kenny Wallace. Kenny needs to be a little bit careful, and he knows that because he's in the battle for the championship. Those other guys don't worry about points. Here's Earnhardt. He don't worry about points as he goes by Ken Schrader.
That's Earnhardt in the car number 3. Behind him is Kenny Schrader in the 15. Then comes Bobby Labonte. He's the other principal in the point standing. So both Bobby Labonte and Kenny Wallace staying within the earshot of each other. As Michael Waltrip in the Pennzoil Pontiac in the car number 30. You see he is running third now as he's going around Jimmy Hensley's Oldsmobile.
And here's Morgan Shepherd and Davey Allison battling side-by-side for position. And Shepherd gets the measure of him. Does he slide high? Will Allison be able to come back underneath? No, because Ernie Irvin covers that spot. He comes down on the inside. Back there Earnhardt in the black Chevrolet.
That's for 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th, Ned. As there are 3 abreast for 12th spot. Bobby Labonte on the inside. Kenny Schrader in the middle. And Kenny Wallace as Bobby Labonte pulls in front of Schrader in turn 1. And now it's Schrader and Kenny Wallace door to door as they head for turn 2.
Well, I tell you, Bobby Labonte wasn't worried about points when he made it 3 deep going into the turn. Of course, he had the preferred line down on the inside. A great move by young Labonte. He drives this track well.
Bobby Labonte in 12th spot. That's 13th, 14th, and 15th on your screen. You see the car number 79 of Dave Resendez coming into your picture. He's having a good run. He lost a lap last week at Bristol early on, but came back, got the lap back, and it turned out to be a victim before the night was over, but now being shown in the 13th spot. Kenny Schrader in the car number 15. In 12th spot. There's Resendez in 13th. Kenny Wallace 14th. The young man Jeff Gordon in the car number 1, the Carolina Ford dealer's Ford, who finished 3rd last week, being shown in 16th. Battle heating up toward the front for 2nd spot.
Yes, that's Todd Bodine being challenged by Michael Waltrip. The Humber Jack Buick from Todd Bodine. You can see Dan is pulled away, but Waltrip goes a little high in that turn. We'll see him doing that as the race goes on, Jared. That'll be the pattern or the groove that they'll be using in that turn. Normally, they don't get up that high quite this early. Michael Waltrip, I think through turns 3 and 4 is where he is winning games. See him pick up on him there now?
Indeed, he is dead. Michael Waltrip, remember, back in April was the car to beat here at Darlington. He seemed to have the dominant vehicle. Remember, Harry Gant pulled away early but blew an engine on lap 18 and exited early. And Michael Waltrip took charge and looked to have the race in control until he broke a valve spring with a few laps to go and had the market. There again.
Jerry, in that turn, it's almost impossible to get a race car set up on this racetrack so it works good on both ends of the track. It's an egg-shaped track. The banking down in turn 1 is steeper than this, or at least it appears that way when you go in there. And, of course, the turn 3 and 4 is so much longer. Most drivers will set their cars up to favor.
Glad to have you with us here. Busch Series Racing from Darlington, South Carolina. There's the battle for 2nd and 3rd spot. Todd Bodine, only his 2nd start here at Darlington. He finished 5th here back in April. And there's Harry Gant, just haven't gone out of your picture. About 15 car lengths separating Gant from Todd Bodine. Clyde McLeod prepared Hungry Jack Biscuit Buick. And where is Harry Gant? He's way over here in turn 4, and now the lead continues to grow. And where is Dale Jarrett? Talking about him early in the race. He's taking his way through traffic at Green Bristol.
Delivers on the inside of David Green, the rookie driver. Picks up another position. Now he moves up to about 21st position from his 24th. He dropped back a few positions on the start. A few of those. Has a new engine in that car. Dale Jarrett does have. And here's the Jimmy Hensley Ward Burton battle. Ward Burton in the 27th car, the Walt's Big 8 Hot Dog car.
And Rick Red has done a great job with Ward Burton there. Watch Morgan Shepherd now in the car number 97. The top of your screen, you see Ward Burton. There's Jimmy Hensley. Then comes Chuck Bound. And Morgan Shepherd goes to the inside group, makes it look easy, sliding inside the Nescafe Pontiac of Chuck Bound. So Morgan Shepherd is on the move here in the early laps at Darlington, South Carolina. Harry Gann is showing the way. Todd Bodine, Michael Waltrip, and a lot of others moving toward the front. Stay with us. South Carolina for Busch Grand National Series racing the 9th annual Gatorade 200. And Harry Gann, who set the record in qualifying, has certainly been able to hold his own. But there's the battle we're watching right now. The battle for third spot is Michael Waltrip in the Pennzoil Pontiac getting closed in upon by Ward Burton in the Gwaltney Buick.
Here's Dale Earnhardt trying to move around, and Darrell Waltrip, both of those former winners here at the Darlington International Raceway, certainly know their way around here. Earnhardt has more victories than does Waltrip.
That would be for the 7th spot, Ned, and Dale Earnhardt would move by DW. Earnhardt did not qualify that well. He didn't expect to qualify that well, but he certainly is making a move, and now racing everywhere. You see Morgan Shepherd now beginning to move in. The Texas Pete Sauce's Ford Thunderbird really on the move. They are battling for the 3rd spot as Ward Burton goes beneath Michael Waltrip, and Morgan Shepherd follows him right through.
Morgan's car is really working down on the bottom of the racetrack. That's a Ford when he's driving. The Texas Pete Sauce sponsored Ford.
Mike Laughlin prepared car, the Holmes and Eames motor. Morgan has been snake-bitten all year long. If there's bad luck on the racetrack, Morgan will find it, and hopefully this will be his day. As he told me yesterday in the garage area, we have got to have some good luck sometime. Maybe it'll come tomorrow, and indeed, he has already moved his way in to the 4th spot.
Factor here at Darlington, and as we said at the top of the show, driving experience means a great deal too, and Morgan Shepherd has a lot of experience on this track.
And Jimmy Hensley going back in a hurry. Now Hensley, one of the few cars, there are only 4 cars in the field on Hoosier tires. The rest of the field, 34 of them are on the Goodyear radials, and Hensley, apparently tires are going away early. He is backsliding in the field, now being shown in 10th spot, and he qualified 2nd.
Yes, he did. So he is apparently those tires giving up a little bit on him.
He was showing a little bit of tire smoke from that left rear tire going in the corner now, as a couple of cars have moved by. Chuck Bound, Ernie Irvin in the McTool Chevrolet, and Jimmy Henson and Don Beverly on those mobiles.
And here goes Ernie Irvin on the inside of Chuck Bound, one of the toughest places on the track to pass, and that's coming into turn 4, but he made the pass easy.
Ernie Irvin hasn't finished in this car, particular race car, yet this year. He ran at Dover and Darlington and Rockingham. At Dover, he was leading with 3 laps to go, had an engine problem. At Darlington, he was running 5th in April and had an engine problem. We mentioned that there's some smoke coming out of the 25 car. Is that oil smoke? Could it be tire smoke?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to tell, Jerry, if it's coming out the exhaust or if it's an oil leak or maybe it is tire smoke. But we'll take a closer look as he comes off of turn 4.
A minute ago, going into turn 1 where it's been the most noticeable. Remember, the radius of these turns considerably different. See here in turn 1 as he gets the car down on the middle groove. He was sliding up toward the top groove a minute ago. It may just be tire smoke.
I believe that was the case, Jerry. I think he maybe got a little loose going into that turn. And did lose a little traction. Certainly, if you're going to do it, it'll be either turn 2 or turn 4.
And the battle beginning to heat up a little bit for 2nd spot. Todd Bodine, the Hungry Jack Colors, holding off the charge of Ward Burton. This is the A.G. Dillernome car, the Gwaltney Big 8's sponsored machine. And a couple of cars here. Now, you would think it would be 2 Fords, but actually, Davey Allison in the car number 28. That is a Buick. And Jeff Gordon, the car number 1, moving in. They are battling for 13th and 14th position as Gordon moves up to the rear deck and Davey Allison.
I don't believe Davey's car is handling too good right now, Jerry. You can see how much Gordon picked up on as they came into that turn, then hit straightaway, and Davey was able to pull away, but now Gordon moves in once again as they come into turn 4.
Right behind him is Kenny Wallace, and now Gordon begins to make the move on the inside. We'll see if he has enough muscle in the Keith Simmons prepared Ford V6, and yes, he will just get the car inside of Davey Allison in turn 1.
Yeah, Davey's car is riding up into turns. I believe it's a little loose right now the way it appears. Kenny Wallace makes a move down on the inside as well. Takes advantage of that strip. And here comes Jack Sprague. Also, they get together a little bit.
Right behind Jack Sprague is Phil Parsons. Now, Parsons had a tremendous run here back in April. He's only run a few events. He ran Darlington, ran Charlotte, ran Watkins Glen, but he started way back in the pack in April in that car number 29 on Oldsmobile and finished fourth. We mentioned that Jimmy Hensley was backsliding in the field. And there's the car number 25, the Don Beverly Oldsmobile. Bobby King is the crew chief on that car, and he's standing by with Benny Parsons. Benny?
That's true, Jerry. I'm a Bobby King. Bobby, is the car okay? I think we're all right right now. We're just backing up a little bit, but we figured we could do that first. But I think when all we run out of green, we're going to be all right. They talked about some smoke. We're seeing some smoke. As Jimmy says, I think it's just a little tire smoke right now. I think it's tire smoke, Jerry.
Well, thank you, Benny. There's Jimmy Hensley, two-time popular driver, one of the most likable guys in Busch Series racing. Checking battles all over the track. Here's Bobby Labonte in the car number 45. He's the youngster who finished second last week, and he tries to move inside of the defending series champion out of turn 4, Ned, and these guys having their own personal battle.
Yes, they are. Bobby Labonte really drives this track well, Jerry. You know, Terry Labonte, his older brother, the first Winston Cup race he ever ran back in '78, as we see Labonte go on the inside of Bowen. The Nescafe Pontiac of Bowen moves back a position as Labonte takes over. But the Labonte brothers have just driven this track so well. Terry coming here for the first time ever in Winston Cup race and finished fourth. Then he got his first victory in 1980 in the Southern 500. So they certainly know their way around and how to drive this track.
And Bobby Labonte, by the way, did an excellent job in substitution last Saturday night at Bristol, a very tough racetrack for them handling Rick Wilson.
Looked very impressive over there. He's a young man that everybody figures is going to be a superstar one of these days.
And here's Harry Gadd, the Ed Whitaker-owned Skoll Buick. A lot of rumblings that Ed Whitaker may not be able to run this car next year because of Buick pulling out of Busch Series racing. We hope that's not the case, but right now they've got to be all smiles as Harry Gadd is leading here at 25 laps of the Gatorade 2. Still in the early laps, and Harry Gadd, our leader, is moving by the Bobby Daughter car. And let's take a look at this battle here. You see Dale Earnhardt now making his way toward the front. He is now being shown in the 4th position. Earnhardt started way back in 16th spot, and he is coming in. He may be one of the quickest cars on the track.
I think he is, Jerry. He has come through some traffic with awfully good cars in him and just been able to pick them off, move up into 4th place. He has caught Morgan Shepherd that we watched a little while ago. Morgan was zipping through some traffic, and I think they're perhaps gaining a little bit on Harry Gant.
There's Gant coming at you. We'll give you a shot to show you the interval there. Morgan Shepherd is passing by in the Goodrich Chevrolet of Dale Earnhardt. This is the car Earnhardt used to win with in Daytona. That's the 300 down here. The Banjo Matthews car, the front steer car with the Jack Tant motor. Many of you may remember Jack Tant, who built engines for many, many years, the legendary Ray Hendrick.
He's been one of the best in short track engine building for many, many years.
There's Harry Gant, car number 7. Inside of Morgan Shepherd, 2 veterans, tough competitors here in Darlington.
Well, that was a tough place to pass coming off of turn 4. And also, Ward Burton trying to take advantage of that, trying to move back on the inside. Both Earnhardt and Shepherd had passed Burton a few laps ago. He was trying to get back in front of Shepherd, but Earnhardt now is pulled away from him. And still between Earnhardt now, that puts Earnhardt in 3rd place, but still between he and Harry Gant is Todd Bodine, and Todd Bodine is hanging tough up there. In fact, he might have picked up just a little bit of distance on Harry Gant.
As Ward Burton, you see him getting around Morgan Shepherd. There's the man you're talking about, Ned, Harry Gant. We'll give you the interval between Gant. Matt Earnhardt in 3rd spot, 2.6 seconds. Remember, Todd Bodine is in 2nd spot. But there is Earnhardt coming all the way from 16th starting position. The Tony Urey, Rick Boss prepared car. There's the man they're chasing, Harry Gant. 4-time winner here in Darlington. He has won once in 1991. That win coming on the short track at Richmond, Virginia, back in late February.
We'll check that interval again as Gant comes off of turn 4. See if he's holding his own or if Earnhardt is gaining. Picked up a little bit. Almost 0.2 of a second, Jerry. It was 2.6 the last time by. Now it's 2.4, so Earnhardt is gaining. Here's Joe Nemechek in the pits, the High Point Betty car, and Joe in 5th place in the point standings. We understand they might have an oil pressure problem. Too bad for him.
They had a problem problem in the late practice yesterday. This car was tagged by Ernie Irvin. They came together in practice. He backed this car in the wall, and the crew had to work all afternoon and most of the evening to put the car back together. A tough break for the Lakeland, Florida driver. Last year's Rookie of the Year, and as you said, Ned, currently fifth in the point standings. He will go behind the wall. And here is Harry Gant. Harry finished first and second at Darlington last year. But remember, back in April, he only ran about 18 or 20 laps and had to park it with an engine problem. A two-time winner at Darlington. He has 2 wins to his credit. This year, he won at Daytona, defeated over the Goodies 300. He also won at Charlotte back in May. About 35 laps there. There was a concern over in the Busch garage. We talked about Jimmy Hensley on the Hoosier tires. He slowed early, and we saw some smoke. But even the radial tires, because of the heat, the intensity here today, may not be able to go much more than 40, 45 laps.
It'll be interesting to see how we're wearing the tires quite a bit as Michael Waltrip now in the Pennzoil Pontiac moves around the car number 27, the Waltney Big 8 hot dog of Wardsburg. That's 4th place now for Michael Waltrip.
Well, Harry gets the lead, Todd Bodine in second. Dale Earnhardt is third, and there's the 4th and 5th place cars. Michael Waltrip and Ward Burton. They'll show you way back up to where Harry Gant is there in the Skoal Bandit Buick. In the early laps here at Darlington, South Carolina, Harry Gant trying to pick up win number 2. Lots of racing yet to come. Stay with us. Judges from the Bodine brothers trying to make a move now on Harry Gant. Glad to have you with us. You see Dale Earnhardt back at the top of your screen. He is coming. Earnhardt now back in 3rd spot, but there's the battle we're watching between Gant and Bodine, a pair of Buicks up front.
Well, Harry Gant didn't do a lot of practicing, Jerry, after he won the pole. We went out yesterday and ran about a half a dozen laps. It was very fast. Said the car feels okay. Let's just leave her and race her. But they haven't run this long on a set of tires. Many drivers would go out and run 10 or 15 laps, but things starts happening to the race car as those tires get harder, get worn, and fuel starts getting low. And maybe Gant's handling is not quite as good now as it was a little bit earlier.
We talked about experience being a major factor here. Let's see how they work this heavy traffic. They go by the Ed Barrier car. That's the John Fayroll machine, car number 33. And we'll see if Todd Bodine will follow the veteran through this heavy traffic as they head for turn 3.
Well, I would bet that either Brett or Jeff, or perhaps both of them, Todd's brothers, are spotting for him today. He says that they give him a lot of help on the racetrack and tell him what to do, and I would bet that they say, hey, follow him through, be very careful. This track can bite you in a moment, so follow that veteran through.
Won by the car number 99 of Jeff Burton. That's the Bill Papke's John Jackson-owned car. Now Todd Bodine being a little more careful. He's losing some ground there. But these two guys aren't taking their time at all. Car number 3 and the car number 30, Earnhardt and Michael Waltrip. And they now have caught up almost to this traffic collection there where the front 2 cars are weaving their way through. Earnhardt goes high, and Michael said, I'll just follow around this guy. Well, this stuff now work on Mr. Jeff Burton.
Well, we saw Michael Waltrip drop back a couple of positions there early in the race, Jerry, but he's coming on now, so apparently the track's coming to him. Rick Miller coming in the Food Country Oldsmobile. Change of right side tires on his cars. We watch this battle for 3rd. Earnhardt in 3rd. Michael Waltrip 4th.
They are moving in on Cecil Eunice, the car number 19, right in front of them. The Black Shears, Georgia driver. There's Cecil. He's a dirt track ace. Runs oftentimes here in the Busch Series. Cecil being shown in 27th spot. Dispense with much of this traffic as Harry Gant now clears the car number 31 of Steve Grissom. Now has some clear sailing up in turns 1 and 2, and now Todd Bodine can begin to set his sights and so he can reel him back in.
Well, they're through that traffic, and he has nothing but just a couple of car lengths between he and Harry Gant. Now the car will go by. Steve Grissom, Roddenberry's car number 31.
That traffic may have been a big help for the 3 and 30 cars. And Benny Parsons in the pits. You've been watching this battle back there for 3rd spot. Earnhardt and Waltrip are coming.
Michael Waltrip, Red Jerry.
Jarrett was right. He dropped back at the beginning of the race. When everyone was running at the bottom of the racetrack, Michael had trouble keeping up. But then he moved up to the top of the racetrack, the groove that Michael Waltrip has learned to love, that high groove, and he has worked it to perfection. He's coming off turn 4 right up high in that gray stuff, and the car is flying up there.
So I would say the racetrack is coming to him now as the groove does begin to move up. His car set up to run up there, which is very smart, knowing that the groove would move up.
And here's the 5th and 6th place car. That's Ward Burton in the car number 27, and the 10 car behind him was Ernie Irvin. As Earnhardt now really getting some heat from Michael Waltrip. Michael taking the outside groove, and now we'll sneak a peek to the inside of the backstretch. Makes better up, pulls back in behind Earnhardt. Looks like Michael's car drifting a little bit there in turn 3.
Or either he's just driving it up there. The car just seems to work better, as Beanie said, in that groove. And as the race goes on, the groove gets higher and higher, especially in turns 1 and 2, but also up in between turns 3 and 4. So might be coming to Michael a little bit. See how high he goes compared to Earnhardt. Almost looks like he's going to hit the wall, but he gets a good run off the turn then.
Average speed 147.210. That is at a record pace. The race record only 136.342. So that was set by Dale Jarrett in the 1990 Gatorade 200. Harry Gant setting a blistering pace, and Michael Waltrip just running on the racetrack trying to make the outside move on Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah, it wouldn't work coming off of turn 4. You don't pass on the outside unless somebody just moves over and lets you.
Well, that worked in Days of Thunder, but it won't work here in the Gatorade 200.
No. Look at Michael, how high he is running. Almost got the wall that time.
Almost put a Pennzoil decal up there in turn 2. And these two drivers are moving in now on Harry Gant and Todd Bodine. Gant apparently has gotten the word that Earnhardt and Waltrip are on the move, so he has begun to pull away a little bit from Todd Bodine as these two Winston Cup veterans today in Busch Series racing, waging their own little war here. Let's see if we can see exactly how high Michael Waltrip gets here in turn 2. Michael can just about see the lens of that camera when he comes by. It's mounted to the wall over there, our speed shot. And that camera attached to the wall. Approaching the 50 lap mark here, and Harry Gant still holding on, but it's going to get quite hot up front here in just a moment. More from Darlington after this. South Carolina is really tightened up toward 4 cars. You see them there within a car length of each other. As Tommy Houston makes an unscheduled pit stop, he has come into contact with the wall, and they will change tires. The leaders now come barreling out of turn 2. Gant, Bodine, Earnhardt, and Waltrip.
Todd Bodine made an attempt a little bit ago to pass Gant, but Gant held on to the lead. And as they battled for the lead, as you said, Earnhardt and Michael Waltrip.
Competition heating up here at Darlington. It's really going to butt heads here later this afternoon as college football coming your way. East Carolina. This is we talk about knocking heads. Todd Bodine moves to the inside and takes a 2-car length advantage over Harry Gant. Let's check into the pit with Benny Carson.
Jerry, how would you, all these Busch Grand National drivers want to be Winston Cup drivers. And they go to a prospective owner and they say, I want to drive your race car. They say, what have you ever done? Todd Bodine is doing something they put on his resume. He said, I passed Harry Gant to the lead. I kept Dale Earnhardt and Michael Waltrip behind me, nose to tail. What a resume that boy is writing today.
You know, Benny, Jeff Bodine really got his break here at Darlington in a Busch Grand National weekend. And we got a crash.
27 and Ward Burton. We are told it is the Ward Burton car. As the caution now being shown to the field. There's the Gwaltney's Big H Buick, the A.G. Dillard-owned car. Ward was being shown in the 5th position. His car coming out, spinning out of control. And the caution being shown by Carl Simmons at the flag stand, waving the yellow flag for the first time today. Ward trying to get the car refired as the car pulled away from the wall as the car is slowing down. Let's take a look again and see what might have happened.
Well, he was down on the inside, looked like Ernie Irvin, and the back end just broke loose with him. He couldn't get the car squared away, and he just tries to spin it down to the inside, but makes contact with the inside retaining wall. That's coming off of turn 2.
for pit stops here, as the car number 27 will try to make its way in left back toward the pits, but the leaders will make their way on the pit road, and now the rules for Busch Series Racing, they will allow 2 tires for a caution flag. Here's Todd Bodine, Harry Gant, Earnhardt, Michael Waltrip, all headed for pit road. Let's go to Benny Parsons.
Jerry Punch, Todd Bodine has to be a happy young man because he brings that hungry Jack Buick in the pits first. Gives his crew an advantage because he's able to keep all the cars behind him. The right side is going on. Harry Gant, meanwhile, is starting. The right side's going on that car. The tires are changed already on the Skoal car. He's out. Now Todd Bodine goes, but there goes Michael Waltrip by. So he will lose at least 2 spots on the pit stop.
Harry Gant, you take a look up pit road there. Harry Gant, the first car to leave. Earnhardt next, and Michael Waltrip, and some of those experienced Winston Cup crew members able to help in the pits. Here is Davey Allison's Haviland Buick. Red Farmer there you see on the right rear of the car will change a little weight in that machine, as Davey Allison still looking for his first win in Busch Series racing in the 1991 season. Had a good run last week in Bristol, Tennessee. We're under caution for the first time today for a spin and crash out of turn 2 by Ward Burton. More racing from Darlington after this. We'll welcome you back to Darlington, South Carolina. Still working the first caution flag of the day. Here on lap number 57, Pontiac pace car has the field in tow, as Harry Gant now being shown as our leader after pit stops. Flying the caution flag, well, just a little bit ago, we had a spin out of turn 2. The car number 27 of Ward Burton, who had a tremendous run going. The young man came into contact with the inside wall as Morgan Shepherd now having his problems. Apparently his car then looks to have come to a halt.
Yes, it does, and that's just past the exit on pit road. So let's go to the pits and Benny Parsons.
Ned Jarrett, the 28 car, Davey Allison has come back in the pits. They are trying to put a rubber spacer in the right rear. Davey is complaining about the car pushing badly off the corner. You speculate he might have brushed the wall on the right side. I can't see if there has been some contact, but that's the problem. The car is pushing badly off the corner. They're under the car. They tried to do it the last time, but the spring was collapsed so much they couldn't get it in. They brought it back in. They lubricated it real well and have tried to slide that rubber spacer back in there. We'll have to check and see if they're able to make it.
Well, Davey Allison there with the Haviland Buick on pit road. Remember, he started 25th at Bristol last week and brought this car all the way up to finish 4th on the evening. Well, Benny Parsons talking about some of the changes in the pits. Let's check in with what you can do to a car with another ESPN Track Fact. Track Facts are brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is One Top Motor Oil.
This is exactly what we were talking about on Davey Allison's car. This rubber, they was trying to insert inside the spring to make the spring stronger on the right rear, only they had cut the rubber in 2. If you insert the entire ring in there, that's about 50 pounds. If you cut it in half, obviously about 25 pounds. They felt like that about a 25-pound stronger right rear spring would solve their problems. Now, if you had the reverse problem, if the car was loose, they would insert this rubber spacer in the left rear. That would tighten the car up. This is a quick way of changing the spring without really changing the spring.
That's very, very good, Benny. You know, a lot of people don't understand. We talk about inserting a rubber in the car as they bring the Davey Allison car back down pit road, and once again, they will go to work on that right rear. As they continue to work on that car, let's show you why we're under caution here at Darlington. Moments ago, Ward Burton, the car number 27, looks to lose it coming off turn 2.
Coming off of turn 2, he was trying to get under Ernie Irvin, and that's a tricky place on the racetrack. The back end just broke loose with him. He couldn't get it squared away and got into the inside retaining wall.
So Ward Burton brings out the caution flag for the first time today here at Darlington, South Carolina. Harry gets their leader while they work on Davey's car more after this. As the car number 28, Davey Allison, has gone behind the wall. Harry Gant leads him off, and the green flag flies once again here for the Gatorade 200.
20 cars still in the lead left, Jerry, as we get the green flag to resume racing. Dale Earnhardt came out in second after those pit stops. Michael Waltrip third, Todd Bodine fourth. But Todd Bodine now making a move on Michael Waltrip very quickly. He wants to get back up front. He was leading this race when the caution came out. Looks like Dale Jarrett might have spun coming out of in turn 3 or 4, between turns 3 and 4, caution is out.
And they're waving the yellow flag here as Jarrett's showing a lot of smoke from beneath his Nestle's Crunch Pontiac. The man who's won the last 2 races here at Darlington in Busch Series competition. There's a look at Dale Jarrett. Last week's winner in Bristol, Tennessee. And you wonder if he may have cut a tire up there. Looks like he has some damage on the right side of the car.
Yeah, there is damage to the right. He had some damage to the right side of the car from an early encounter with somebody, Jerry, but don't know what happened on this particular situation.
Lap 63, caution being shown for the second time. There's Dale Jarrett, who showed a lot of smoke a minute ago as the car spun up in turn 3.
Now, how many will pit for left side tires? They can only change 2 tires. Yes, here they come down pit road. They'll take on fresh left side tires now to go with those rights they had just a moment ago. Let's go to the pits for Mitch Carson.
Ed, that's exactly right. All these fellows have taken the opportunity on the caution flag to come in and change left side tires. Here's Dale Earnhardt. He comes to a stop, and you can see they put in brand new sticker-type tires, the Goodyear radial. And Harry Gant is on the top of your screen. Harry Gant already leaving. Earnhardt still sitting here, putting on the left side. Harry Gant goes by, and Earnhardt follows Gant down the road.
Great pit stop there for Harry Gant and Dale Earnhardt. See Ernie Irvin's crew now getting his Mac Tools Chevrolet. So we understand that Dale Jarrett was contacted by another car up in turn 3. We heard at Cecil Eunice, who see Jarrett's car now spinning down off the track.
They said he had just a slight tap going into the turn. Does a good job of saving it, Jerry. Had a lot of asphalt there to work with, and that's a big advantage that Jarrett now goes out of the pits. And now he changed 1 tire on the right side and 1 tire on the left side. I assume that he changed the 2 rear tires because those 2 were ones that took the abuse in that spin. Of course, they can only change 2 tires, but he's just changed the right side tires a moment ago. But that spin could probably flat spotted the rear tires. And so they changed those rear tires. We'll see how that works out for him.
Well, the KG veteran crew chief John Irvin making the call to change the rear tires. We'll see if it'll pay off for Dale Jarrett. We're under caution for the second time today here at lap 64 in Darlington, South Carolina. More Busch Tri-National Racing action to come your way after this. The lead cars are on the inside row, lap cars on the outside. That's Harry Gant, Dale Earnhardt, and Ernie Irvin, along with Michael Walker, the top 4 cars. Carl Severns waves the green flag, and they will shuffle off to turn 1. Taco Bell car number 9 getting shuffled to the outside. He's on the outside of Cecil Eunice. That's the car that came into contact with Dale Jarrett. And they're going to bring out the caution flag. And Dale Earnhardt now in the Goodyear Chevrolet. Running in second spot. Harry Gant showing the way. Once again, look at this restart here as they get 3 wide, headed into turn 1.
And really, there's Tommy Houston down on the inside. Made a little bit of contact with the car number 19 of Cecil Eunice. Then switched him into Troy Beebe. Beebe did a good job of holding the Taco Bell entry.
So that was not Cecil Eunice's fault at all. He actually was shuffled up the racetrack into the car number 9. We mentioned, as you see, Harry Gant leading here by about 8 car lengths over Dale Earnhardt. That Dale Jarrett had been on pit road for changing of rear tires, not left side or right side, but rear only. Let's find out what the strategy might have been with John Irvin down there in Benny Park.
Very much that's exactly what I was going to figure out. John, he changed the rear tires. On the Super Speedway, Bob can change his rear tires.
Well, Benny, the 19 car spun us out over there in the 3rd turn. And under these roads that we go under in the Busch Tri-National, if they're flatted, we can change all flat side tires. So all 4 tires were flat, and so we got to change 4 tires.
Oh, you did change 4 tires?
Yes.
Oh, okay. John, you straighten this out.
I didn't see that, so it's not the advantage. But they did it so quick, I thought they only changed 2. They did a good job down there.
Indeed, we didn't see him move all 4 tires. And here's the battle between Michael Waltrip, a pair of yellow cars with white numbers on the side of them. Michael's in the car number 30, Ernie Irvin in the car number 10. As they are 3rd and 4th, Michael 3rd, Ernie in 4th position. They're chasing a couple other Winston Cup veterans, Gant and Earnhardt in 1st and 2nd spot.
Third and fourth, those 2 yellow cars. Earnhardt and Gant have pulled away from him a little bit. You can see how far there that Earnhardt and Gant have moved away from the third and fourth place cars.
Michael Waltrip still looking for win number 1 in 1991, and likewise Ernie Irvan just getting his own Busch Series operation going this year. Had some good runs, but has had some abysmal luck in the late stages of some of the Winston Cup, of some of the Busch events that he has run.
Well, I tell you, if Harry Gant can keep new tires on that Buick, he's going to be tough because he takes off when he has new tires on it.
We talked about how important experience was at the top of the show, Dad, and that's really what's happened now. The cream rising to the top, I should say the experience cream, with Harry Gant as our leader. Dale Earnhardt in second spot, then the Winston Cup veterans of Michael Waltrip and Ernie Irvan.
And part of that experience also is in the pits, Jerry. We saw these drivers, the Winston Cup drivers, who have, many of them have some of the regular Winston Cup pit crew members that pit them on these Busch Grand National races, and that experience pays off too. It got him out in front of Todd Bodine. He has lost every time that they come into the pits.
And here's the car number 44, Bobby Labonte. The youngster who finished second here back in April, but about to be passed by the Western Auto colors from the Chevrolet Lumina of Darrell Waltrip. That is for 6th and 7th spot. DW takes 6th spot away from the young 27-year-old Bobby Labonte.
Gant running about 32 and a half seconds around this track. Before they changed any tires, he was up over 33 and a half seconds, so those new tires have picked him up at least 1 second.
Chuck Bound, car number 99, Jeff Burton. Of course, 99 has been on pit road in the car number 1. And Jeff Gordon, those 3 cars back in the pack, 53 and 1, and he's in the 9th spot. 99 car is a lap down. Given the halfway signal this time by Carl Simmons. Quick event and a little bit of a nudge there as Jeff Burton trying to move by to the side of Chuck Brown. He will make the move here in the front stretch. Harry Gant has taken the halfway signal.
Hey, I believe he waved Dale Earnhardt by. He just moved up and let him go on the outside. Earnhardt caught him in the last couple of laps. Really ran in on him. Gant had a pretty good lead, like 10 laps, 10 cars or so, just a couple of laps ago. And now Earnhardt is running down. Gant let him pass pretty easily.
Well, a minute ago, we had a record average speed going here at Darlington, but that's not the case now. The caution flag has slowed that down a little bit, as Dale Earnhardt now has moved by Harry Gant to take the lead. Earnhardt having won twice this year. His wins coming both on super speedways and in Charlotte, although he's a 2-time winner here at Darlington in years past.
This battle's still going for third. Michael Waltrip holding that position. Ernie Irvan trying to take it away from him. Hasn't been able to mount too much of a charge. He runs close on him, but he's not been able to get underneath him yet.
Ernie Irvan has made 10 starts this year in Busch Series racing. His best finish, a third up at Watkins Glen. He has not finished on an oval this year. He's had all kinds of problems. And we have some smoke being shown on the racetrack as a couple of cars have spewed a little bit of smoke. Car number 45, we are told there, the car of Jimmy Hensley showing a lot of smoke. We saw some smoke earlier that came in and made an unscheduled pit stop and changed tires, but this looks a little more than tires.
Yeah, that's coming out the exhaust pipe, Jerry, and that'll be comfortable for the race. So Jimmy Hensley, who's up there in third in the Busch Grand National point standings, having a tough day here.
Well, Hensley will take that car to pit road, and we'll take this quick break here as we have more Busch Series racing from Darlington coming your way after this. Back at Darlington, South Carolina, the Grand National Gatorade 200. 80 of 147 laps are complete. Dale Earnhardt leads Harry Gant, Michael Waltrip, Ernie Irvan, and Todd Bodine. Hope you're enjoying today's Speed World coverage of Busch Series racing. Jerry Pudge here in the booth, and one car having come into contact with the wall is David Green. And his car lifts slowly down out of turn 4, and we see smoke coming out of the Tommy Houston car as Houston brings his car off the apron. See some front-end damage on the right side of the David Green car.
Yeah, I think he got into the wall a little bit, Jerry, or into another car. He was running in a tight, or a big, running very tight in a big pack of cars out there, and he does have some damage to the right front. The crew is not quite sure what they should do.
Well, David Green, one of the leading contenders in the Rookie of the Year standings. And here is Tommy Houston. We mentioned we saw some smoke from his car. His young son, Scott, at 26 years of age, now changing the left front tire. Tommy being shown in the 6th overall in the point standings. So this will hurt Tommy in the point standings, but not nearly as much as the man who's standing by with Benny Parsons, who was 3rd. Benny?
Jerry Punch, I'm with Jimmy Hensley. Jimmy, you qualified on the outside pole. We saw some smoke out of the car. You know what it was?
Well, smoke earlier was coming out of the oil tank. Oh, what caused it? It dropped the valve at the end. So it could have been a valve problem causing it to build up pressure or something. I don't know.
You're not even going to try to fix the car to get back in, are you?
No, it's too bad. We can't go out there and run. So really hurt us in the points, but we're hanging in. We're running top 10, so probably could have had a pretty decent day, but that's where it goes.
Okay, Jerry, out of the race.
And it's heating up on the track. Kenny Schrader, the Exxon colors, the car number 15, the Timmy Cohut prepared car, and the 79 of Dave Resendez in 11th and 12th spot.
There has been a pack of cars back there that have been running awfully close together. Jerry, they're scattered out a little bit right now, but Resendez putting the pressure on Kenny Schrader.
Now, Dave Resendez is a new crew chief, a young man by the name of Mike Jarrett. Mike Jarrett, who worked with Robert G for a number of years, has made a difference in this operation. Resendez will try to move inside of the Schrader up out of turn 4.
Impressive move by that young fella. Like Phil Parsons has slowed right in front of them where they've moved around him now. Phil was running right in there with that pack of cars, but Phil has slowed down. Now, tough break for him. And Chuck Bowen in the pits for an unscheduled pit stop.
Ned, they're bringing the car in and changing right side tires, as you can see.
Big Rodney's on the right front, changing the tires. This is the fastest pit crew in Busch Grand National races, and you can see why. They're going down. Earnhardt is in turn 3, and Chuck Bowen has to go down the front, down pit road, slow, take it easy, and it looks like Earnhardt will put him a lap down.
60 miles an hour is the pit road speed here this weekend, and Earnhardt does go around and puts Chuck Bowen a lap down.
You know, back in April, Chuck Bowen was running 3rd on that last pit stop, and he came down pit road, had a problem with the gear shift. He got lapped in the pits and ended up finishing back in 11th. He cannot cancel the race here at Darlington. A tough break for last year's series champion.
And we mentioned Phil Parsons having a problem. He had pulled the car behind the wall. He had another good run going here today in the National Quick Oldsmobile.
Let's take a look at Dale Earnhardt. Remember, he gets started back in 16th spot on lap 10. He was already in the top 10 at night, made his way to the top 5 by lap 20, 3rd on lap 50, and took the lead on lap 88 as he moves around the Butch Miller car, the Charlie Henderson owned car number 75. There's Harry Gant. You see Tommy Houston's car back on the track. Houston had come in for an unscheduled stop. And there's Phil Parsons, the Vortex Comics, Nestle's Quick Oldsmobile. Had such a tremendous run here back in April. Coming from way back in 34th starting position to finish 4th.
And here's Earnhardt just pulling away. You can see how far. There's Harry Gant in the green car, so he has pulled away pretty good from him. Then you saw the 2 yellow cars. We let the whole field go by. There went Darrell Waltrip.
Bobby Labonte going by. You see that's the Ted Condor-owned car. Dick Trickle driving today. Dale Jarrett at that pit stop with a spin up there. Kenny Wallace coming by. And Dale Jarrett. Dale Earnhardt, I should say. So accustomed to saying Dale Jarrett leading these Busch races, we almost forget about the man in black there. Part of the Goodrich Chevrolet. How could we forget? Forgive us, Dale. The 2-time winner here at Darlington, trying to pick up win number 3 in the 1991 season. 39 years of age, 16 premier Busch Series wins. Earnhardt stabilizing up front right now in front of Harry Gant. And here is Kenny Schrader in the car number 15 along with Tracy Leslie in the 72. They are 12th, 13th, and 14th currently as Schrader, Leslie, and Dale Jarrett. After an unscheduled stop, kind of bad effort by Jarrett to get back in the top 15. He is 14th right now and seems to be closing a little bit on Schrader and Leslie.
Seems to be picking up a little bit on him. Jared, but I don't think his car is working as well as it did here when he won the last 2 races. And car number 1 of Jeff Gordon having a problem. The Carolina Ford dealers. Ford number 1 apparently has gone an engine.
And he was 11th in the point standings, and apparently that's indeed the case. He lost an engine. Hey, you got to give a call to Keith Simmons, who is the crew chief and engine builder on that Bill Davis owned Carolina Ford dealers machine. They have really put some motors in that car. They finished third, or second, I should say, 3 times this year. He finished 9th here back in April in his very first start in that Ford Thunderbird.
He was running 8th before he had this problem, Jerry, so he was hanging right in there today in the top 10.
No caution flag. They got the car down off the track. Earnhardt showing the way. Glad to have you with us. Lap 93 of 147 was comprised. Gatorade 200. 9th annual edition here at the track. Too tough to tame. Lots of interval there. Lots of track time between Earnhardt, our leader. Looking back for the car number 15 and 72. That's 11th, 12th, and 13th. And there's Dale Jarrett moving to the inside of Tracy Leslie. Jarrett takes the spot, take away the 12th spot. Right in front of Jarrett now is Kenny Schrader. And Leslie's car does a little bit of a bob and weave there in turns 1 and 2.
And they're about 3/4 of a lap behind Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt just continues to motor around this racetrack at a pretty good clip. He's down now to about 33.5 seconds, Earnhardt is.
We'll let those cars go out of his screen. We'll see how far Earnhardt is behind and how close he is to lapping that threesome back in 12th, 13th. Here comes Earnhardt now out of turn 4, so and it's at least 3/4 of a lap.
Yeah, just about the front straightaway. As he was coming off of turn 4, they were going into turn 1.
I'm sure there's about 25 cars that would love to see a yellow flag right now because Earnhardt is on a tear. He has moved away from Harry Gant by about 40 car lengths, almost the length of a straightaway. Down the backstretch, Earnhardt enters turn 3, and Gant is just coming down the backstretch.
Still 18 cars in the lead left.
And you think this old track isn't tough on tires? Even those Goodyear radials, as strong as they are here, and they'll be on the cars today and tomorrow during the Winston Cup event, they take a pounding here at the mile and 3/8 facility. Dale Earnhardt leading here in Darlington, South Carolina. Glad to have you with us. Benny Parsons, Ned Jarrett, and Jerry Punch. Stop number 25 on the $4.5 million Busch National Series Tour for 1991. Dale Earnhardt's Goodrich Chevrolet showing the way. Earnhardt trying to hold on as the fans everywhere enjoying a great day for racing here in South Carolina. Coming back to Darlington, South Carolina, and Michael Walker just on cue coming out of commercial. Thank you, Michael. Let's move inside of Harry Gant. They've been battling folks all during the break, and Michael took the pass down in turn 3 and takes second spot away. Remember, Michael's best finish of the year coming in the season opener at Daytona Beach, Florida. He finished second down there to who? Dale Earnhardt. That's who he's chasing right now. And one fellow who was chasing the Rookie of the Year honors didn't have a great day. He's standing by with Benny Parsons.
That's Jeff Gordon, driver of the number 1 Carolina Ford dealers Ford. You're inside. What happened?
Well, went into turn 1 and just blew a motor. I think we broke a rod. You know, we've been so fortunate this year. Our motors, the Ford motors have held up really good for us. We finished, you know, almost all the laps of all the races that we ran. So it's unfortunate Carolina Ford dealers Ford was running awesome today. It's just really running good. And I think we're going to run up front again.
Okay, you're on a mile and 3/8 paved. Are you going to 1 mile third on Sunday at DuQuoin?
Yes, sir. You're sure right. You know, I can't wait. It's so much different from this track to that track. It'll take me a little while to adjust, but I tell you, I really love it down here. I love Darlington. This is one of my favorite racetracks. And it's almost like a dirt track, Benny. You know, you're slipping and sliding out there, so I'm just practicing for Monday.
What does it feel like to go in those corners about 130 miles an hour and just pitch the car sideways, be totally out of control?
Well, you know, it's what I say about sprint cars is it's being totally out of control and in control at the same time. So it's a blast. You know, the cars, they really turn for you with the stagger and the tires that we run, but it's a blast running those miles. But I don't know if it's anything like Darlington. You know about that.
Jerry, he said in control and out of control. He's got me confused. You try to sort it out.
Well, Benny, in control is what you and I and Ned are. Out of control is like the production truck, our producer Neil Goldberg and the guys, and that's out of control. Of course, they've been up all night putting together that great show from the Hall of Fame, and they have an excuse. There's Dale Earnhardt. He certainly is showing the way here in Darlington in the Good Race Chevrolet. Some of the drivers have already parked it. Robert Huffman, Joe Nemechek, Gordon Irvin had a good run going. Morgan Shepherd and Davey Allison, we saw him pull behind the wall. Ed Barrier, Jimmy Hensley, Bill Parsons, Jeff Purvis, and David Green. And, of course, the man you just heard a minute ago from Jeff Gordon. Now, Jeff Gordon will be a great one. He's already a good one, and people even in the Winston Cup garage are beginning to talk about that young man.
Yeah, I think he's a future star in Winston Cup. He's almost there in Busch Grand National. Hasn't won yet, but he has come off the coast.
Dale Earnhardt has run 9 Busch Series events in 1991. We mentioned he has won twice. He also won at Charlotte. He has moved around. Check the cars on the lead lap. We're showing currently 14 cars on the lead lap. With Tracy Leslie, the last car of the 14. Some of the other cars they come by. Here's the car number 31 of Steve Grissom. Roddenberry's Pickles and Relish Oldsmobile. He is in 18th spot. Finished 37th here in April. He had 4 wins last year. Robert Presley, the Alliance Tractor Training Oldsmobile.
He is 17.
1 win this year. Car number 48. That's Jack Sprague driving the Fred Turner machine. On the limited schedule. Had a good run in Charlotte. Finished in the top 5.
Sprague is in 15th place, Jerry. He's 1 lap down.
Here's the car number 30. Michael Walton, 4 career wins. Currently being shown in the 2nd place car. Behind Earnhardt today. Pinsoil Pontiac.
Well, he has pulled away from Gant since he passed him. There we see Gant, who is currently running 3rd. The Stoll Buick. His Whitaker car.
4-time winner here at Darlington. Behind him, the cling-free machine of Bobby Dotter. Finished 15th here in April. Bobby Dotter had that tremendous collision with the wall at Bristol last week. He is so awfully sore. He's doing a pretty good job. He's currently in 19th spot. And 34, top 5. He finished 5th here in April. He started way back in 21st spot.
That is shown in 4th place right now.
Ernie Irvin in the car number 10, the Mac Tool Chevrolet. Remember, he had an engine problem with just 5 laps to go, or a few laps to go back here in the spring. Finished 27th. Behind him, DW, the Western Auto Chevrolet of Darrell Waltrip. Also had his problems here back in the spring. He is currently in 6th spot, and Ernie Irvin was in 5th.
And Waltrip now beginning to close in on him a little bit. And then comes the car number 44, Bobby Labonte, the Slim Jim Oldsmobile, or Penrose Sausages. This is all the same company. Bobby is running in 7th place.
He's in 7th. Here comes Chuck Bound. Remember, he's made a stop on the car number 63, being shown in 20th position, 2 laps down. Billy Standridge making the first start of the 1991 year for him, the JFG-sponsored Pontiac, currently in 25th position. Former regular on the Busch Series Tour.
And right behind him is the car number 18, the Davis Juices car of Dick Trickle, having a good run today in 8th position.
That's the Ted Conner-owned car with Eddie Pearson as the crew chief for Dick Trickle. Cecil Eunice in the car number 19. Best finish at 10th at Martinsville. He's had a top 5 before in Busch Series racing out of Blackshear, Georgia, and he is in 22nd position.
And then comes the car number 99 of Jeff Burton, the Armor Meats entry. He is currently being shown in 16th position.
Bill Papke, John Jackson on car. Here's our point leader, Kenny Wallace, the Cox wood lumber treating machine. That's Pontiac for Kenny Wallace. He is in 9th spot. Dale Jarrett, the Nestle's Crunch Citgo Pontiac. 8 career Busch Series wins, including last week at Bristol. He is now being shown in 10th position, so he has made his way back to the top 10. Car number 79, Dave Resendez in 11th spot, right behind Dale Jarrett. Good run for Dave. He finished 32nd here back in April. Then comes Tom Peck, who qualified 6th and finished 6th at Daytona, his best speedway finish of the year. He's now being shown in the 12th position. Then comes the 6th car of Tommy Houston, currently 6th in the point stand. He's finished 36th here in April, was already had an unscheduled stop for a cut left front tire. He's shown way back in 27th spot, some 8 laps down. Butch Miller, one of the drivers on the Hoosier tires here, finished 20th here back in the spring. In the car number 75.
Being shown in 23rd position, then Kenny Prater the Exxon Chevrolet. He is 13th, still on the lead. Not too far from being left, though. Earnhardt's not too far behind us.
And that's not too far at all. Exactly about 10 Darling. You made the call, Dan. We might mention Kenny Schrader has Jeff McDuffie working on his crew today. Of course, the son of the late J.D. McDuffie, who lost his life in Watkins Glen, New York. Good to see Jeff back at the racetrack working with Timmy Cohut and Ken Schrader on the Busch Grand National ranks. Dale Earnhardt leading here at Darlington, South Carolina. 112 laps complete. It's going to be a shootout. Stay with us. Quite a battle up there for third and fourth spot at Darlington, South Carolina for the Gatorade 200. Harry Gant trying to hold off Todd Bodine, and Gant's car not handling well at all.
Bodine really putting the pressure on. A couple laps ago, let's take a look at Harry Gant as he moves on the inside of Jack Sprague. Got down, his left tire's down on the flat part of the racetrack, Jerry. Almost slides into Sprague, maybe does touch him a little bit. Both drivers hang on, continue to go.
You got to wonder if possibly Harry has gotten slower and slower and dropped back and now has been passed for third spot by Todd Bodine. He literally has his hands full. He's trying to fight that steering wheel. He is being shown now in the fourth position. I wonder if they have a handling problem, or maybe it's just the tires going away. Let's check in with Benny Parsons, who's standing with Chris Carrier and crew chief. Benny.
Chris, what seems to be Harry's problem?
I didn't hear you.
What seems to be Harry's problem?
We got a little bit of push right up off the corner, and that's really the worst way to have it. He's really afraid he's going to just rub a right front tire off. Hang on a second.
Harry again is talking to Chris as he goes by and trying to tell him something about the car. Chris is listening to him intently. Billy Abernathy, one of the right front tire changers, the right front tire changer, comes up. Chris still talking to Harry. We'll see what Chris had to say. What did he say?
He just want to know if everybody else can finish on gas. I believe they probably can. The Chevrolets might be a little bit closer, but we got about a 10-lap module.
You need a caution big time, right?
Yeah, right now.
They need a caution flag. They've already got the board out.
Then you talked about that gas mileage. According to our calculations here, they would have had to go 83 laps from the last time they gassed. That's about 113 miles. But these V6s, Jerry, can stretch it that far sometimes.
I did a survey yesterday, Dad, on my own in the garage area, and I was told by at least a half a dozen crew chiefs that the window they had was 82 to 85 laps, but that would be the absolute max with ideal conditions. Here's a guy number 17 of Darrell Waltrip. He is now in fifth position. Remember, Gant has been struggling. He has gone by the car of Harry Gant. He has moved up on the Harry Gant car. There is the Western Auto machine of Darrell Waltrip. Best 1991 finish is third up in Dover, Delaware. Eddie Jones prepared car. And they are black flagging the car number 10. There are some loose metal on the rear of the Mac Tool Chevrolet. Something dragging back there, and Ernie Irvin's getting a consultation flag from NASCAR. Apparently he got tagged from behind by a car. You see that flapping there just under where it says Mac, and he will make the left-hand turn down pit road.
But his currently being shown in seventh position. This will really hurt him, Jerry. It'll let him get the fuel that he needs in case he would not be able to make it the rest of the way, but he didn't want it to come this way.
So the seventh place car makes an unscheduled stop on pit road, and we'll see if the Mac Tools crew will be able to pull some of that fiberglass bumper away. And now here's the battle between Gant and Darrell Waltrip, and Waltrip just makes it look easy. Breezes right on by. Harry Gant pretty much helpless out there. You heard Chris Carrier say they would love to have a caution flag, but what he didn't say is we don't want to be the cause of it.
Right, and I'll tell you, when you get a pushing problem there, we see them change the right side tires on Irvin's car as they pull that, whatever it was, flapping back there on the rear. But Irvin now has gone a lap down as we see the fourth and fifth place cars go by as Irvin was coming out of the pit, so Earnhardt had gone by a good bit earlier.
That's the fourth and fifth place cars right there, as Dale Earnhardt is showing the way at Darlington. Glad to have you with us here at the track Too Tough to Tame for Busch Grand National Series Racing. It'll be a shootout when we come back. Stay with us. It's Arlington, South Carolina. Just 21 laps remain here in the Gatorade 200. Dale Earnhardt's Goodwrench Chevrolet is our leader. And, of course, lots of racing action to come your way tomorrow. In flag-to-flag coverage, the 42nd Annual Heinz Southern 500 coming your way live at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Third, Paul lead the charge at Clark. Bob Jenkins will be on hand here, and all our cubes. And we have with the restaurant.
The Cox Traded Lumber.
47, which comprise this event. I don't believe he's going to be able to nurse it home.
I don't think he will either, Jerry, but he wants to get every lap that he can.
And here's Bobby Labonte in the car number 44, the man we were talking about, the youngster who is just 70 points back, moving to the inside of Harry Gant.
Taking over fifth. So that puts him on the scoreboard here, Darlington.
Bonnie, who finished second last week at Bristol, Tennessee, to Dale Jarrett. And great battle between him and Jeff Gordon there down to the wire on the half-mile high banks in Tennessee.
That was 5 more points when he moved around Harry Gant. Every position he can pick up. The team that much closer to the lead, or maybe even let him take over the lead here today.
Bobby Labonte already has won twice this year, currently being shown in 5th place. Both of his wins coming on ESPN. He won back in April at Bristol, Tennessee, and he won in early August at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Now he moves to the inside of the car number 59. That is Robert Presley. He is currently in 17th position.
Well, Jerry, right now there are only 9 cars left on the lead lap. Tom Peck is the last of those. He is in 9th. Dale Jarrett is 8th. Vic Griffin is 7th. I'm going backwards on it here, but Harry Gant has dropped back to 6th, and we saw Bobby Labonte just take over 5th. Darrell Waltrip is 4th. And in 3rd place is Todd Ledine. Malcolm Waltrip 2nd. Of course, Dale Earnhardt out front.
And ESPN's answer to Mr. Wizard here in the booth, our statistician Kenny Martin has just told me that if Bobby Labonte can hold on and finish 5th or better, and Kenny Wallace does not return, Bobby Labonte will assume the points lead after today. And there will be 6 events remaining in the 1991 season. Busch Grand National Competition, and Labonte would go on to the next event as the point leader.
Here's Dale Earnhardt, the leader. Still circling this track. He's down to about 34 seconds now, Jerry. This is, has been a long run on the tires, the longest green flag run we've had today. And the more they run, the hotter these tires get, the more worn they get. Really, the wear is worse than the heat part.
And the blue car in front of him, that's Tom Peck, who is the 9th place car. The last car on the lead lap he talked about a minute ago. Tom Peck, who qualified 6th and finished 6th at Daytona, his best speedway run of the year. Trying to get a top 10 finish here at Darlington. We see Earnhardt moving in on him as Tommy Houston pulls his Buick down to the inside, seeing that Houston is not on the lead lap. And while Earnhardt circulates, trying to make another car a lap down, let's check in where the defending point leader right now is out of the race and standing by with our Benny Parsons.
Kenny, what's wrong with the car?
Well, evidently we lost the cylinder. I guess the keeper or something broke on the valve train. You know, it was doing pretty good. The car wasn't exactly right when we started the race, and we got going a lot better. And you know, I guess we was running about 7th or 8th. But I just have to be back at Richmond and try to get them then.
You're going to lose the point lead if Labonte can stay on the racetrack.
Well, you know, that's a risk I took going into this race. You know, it's pretty well. It's a ping pong game. I led early in the season. Bobby led, you know, later than I got him back. So we're just going to have to stay tough. You know, he might, I don't know how many points he's going to gain on stage. He'll probably take the point lead. But, hey, we're racing. Hey, you know, it ain't going to bother me. We got 6 more to go.
Okay, he says he can get them back.
And I believe that young man can. 2 confident young drivers. Bobby Labonte in the car number 44 in the Penrose Oldsmobile there, beginning to move in on Darrell Waltrip.
Yes, he is. Waltrip running in the 4th position in the Western Auto Chevrolet, but the Penrose Oldsmobile is definitely moving in. He has picked up a lot of distance, Jerry, just the last few laps. So he's the man with the mission right now, Bobby Labonte. He has 2 second-place finishes here at Darlington.
That's exactly what happened back in April, late in the race, when the track got very, very slick. Bobby Labonte came in a hurry. Labonte finished second here in April to Dale Jarrett, and was moving in on Jarrett late in the race, and now he's moving in on another veteran Whistling Cup campaigner, Darrell Waltrip. Laps are running out for Bobby Labonte, and Dale Earnhardt is pulling away, and we've got this 13th meeting here at Darlington.
And the question is going to become, as we watch this battle for the 4th position. Can Dale Earnhardt make it on gas? Chris Carrier, crew chief on Harry Gant's car, said he thought they could make it, but the Chevrolets might not be able to. Well, Earnhardt is driving a Chevrolet. So is Darrell Waltrip.
You got to believe that Jack Penn is down there in the Earnhardt pit. He is the engine builder for Dale Earnhardt and that Goodrich car. Trying to calculate the fuel mileage. There's DW, Darrell Waltrip in 4th spot. And the youngster, Bobby Labonte. Number 44. He is just 27 years of age.
Like Labonte might be slowing just a little bit, Jerry. He was up there a moment ago. Maybe not. Maybe just slipped a little bit. Dick Trickle, meanwhile, has taken over the 6th position from Harry Gant. Now they're 10 laps to go.
As Ernie Irvin's car, who had been on pit road, has some pressure tires, comes around Darrell Waltrip. That may have been the opening that Bobby Labonte needed as Waltrip slips up high in turn 4. Labonte on the inside. Waltrip with a lot of experience here. Jumps back in the throttle and pulls him by now 2 car lengths here in the front stretch.
Who can make it on gas and who can't? Who can out-nerve each other into the turns on these hot, worn tires?
They're dueling here in Darlington. Glad to have you with us. Jerry Punch, Ned Jarrett, and Benny Parsons for the Gatorade 200 Pushcart National Series event. That's the battle you're watching right now for 4th and 5th position. Darrell Waltrip, the Western Auto colors on his Chevrolet. The Penrose sausage colors of Bobby Labonte coming right at you.
Ernie Irvin position after his unscheduled pit stop, Jerry.
Ned, now you were a young driver learning the ropes, particularly at a track like Darlington. What would you do when you were up against a more experienced man like a Darrell Waltrip?
Well, you sit there and hope that he'll make a mistake, but knowing all the time that it's not very likely that he will. And you watch him, see the pattern that he's using, the line that he's using around the racetrack, figure out where his weak spots are, where your strong points are, and that's where you try to make the path is where your strong points are. And if your strong point is where his weak point is, that's all the better. Normally, it doesn't work out that way.
You got to wonder if Harry Labonte, Bobby Labonte's older brother, who has raced Darrell Waltrip for many, many years, is on that radio telling him what to do, saying, okay, now he's slipping a little bit here, make a move to the inside, no, pull it back in line, let's get some traffic, get him boxed in. And it looks like someone has already had some fuel problems.
Yeah, Dale Jarrett coming in the Nesbitt French Pontiac, he would not make it. He's about 7 laps shy. Dale was running in the 8th position before he came in. And it looks like he can't get the car fired. He must have run completely out of fuel. So that's going to be a costly stop for Dale Jarrett. As we watch this battle continue for 4th place.
Remember, Earnhardt is the leader, but we're showing you the best battle on a racetrack right now with just 7 laps to go. That's Darrell Waltrip and Bobby Labonte, the veteran, DW, 3-time Winston Cup champion, trying to hold off the youngster, 27 years of age, Bobby Labonte from Corpus Christi, Texas.
It took Dale Jarrett forever to get his car fired. He finally did, but he lost a lot of extra time as Labonte really putting the pressure on Darrell Waltrip. Now, how many of these other drivers can make it on fuel?
They really have to be wondering. And Bobby Labonte has to be wondering what he can do to get around Darrell Waltrip. Now, Waltrip is really in Bobby Labonte's turf. He's only run Busch Series racing 7 times this year. His best finish, a 3rd up at Dover, Delaware. But this is Darlington. And Darlington is what we talked about at the top of the show, where experience pays off.
Is certainly a key on this racetrack. Patience is one. Darrell Waltrip has plenty of that, but it's time now that the patience goes out the window. You do all that you can to try to hold that man off, but they better not look up in the rearview mirror because that black car with the bright bumpers is Dick Trickle. He is coming. I mentioned that he passed Harry Gant not long ago. Now he's in 6th place and gaining on the 4th and 5th place driver.
There you see Trickle on the right of your screen. That's the Bailey's Juice sponsored Pontiac, the Ted Ponderon machine with Eddie Pearson, the youngest of the Pearson brothers, as crew chief here, and a good run for Dick Trickle. They will run Richmond, Rockingham, and Martinsville with this car. Trickle will run over the remaining events for 1991.
So it's a 3-way battle now for the 4th position.
4 laps to go. It'll be 3 next time by as Trickle has caught him. And now Labonte really has to be concerned. Veterans in front and behind as they go around the Jeff Burton car. And this youngster really is going to get some lessons here in drafting, possibly by the veteran at Darlington.
But Jerry, you can't afford to take any chances there because he is in good position to take the point lead, and he doesn't want to blow that. He'd like to have a position, but that doesn't mean nearly as much as those points. If he can get easy, okay. If he has to really fight and take chances for Dick Trickle back there to keep him behind him, I don't think he'll do that. Now he goes up a little bit high. Here Trickle takes advantage of it, and Labonte will stay up there, not do anything foolish. He wants to finish this race. Even though he's losing 5 points right now, Trickle does get around.
And Earnhardt, you see there in the insert, he is the leader, and Earnhardt just rolling around here with a couple laps to go to take the victory. But the battle we're watching is 4th, 5th, and 6th. Darrell Waltrip, Bobby Labonte, and Dick Trickle. Chevrolet, Oldsmobile, and Pontiac, those 3 cars, while a Chevrolet showing the way. Earnhardt is our leader, remember. In 2nd place is Michael Waltrip. Todd Bodine is 3rd, but this is the battle we're watching.
And Jerry, he needs to hold on to 5th to get the point lead. He won't have the point lead if he finishes 6th. He'll have a 1-point lead if he finishes 5th. The white flag is out for Dale Earnhardt.
And you got to wonder if his crew now told Bobby Labonte, you have to finish 5th to be the point leader. Watch for Dick Trickle now. We'll see if Labonte can get his Oldsmobile inside of Trickle. Waltrip, Trickle, and Labonte. White flag will go to these 3 drivers as they come by this time, and Trickle now will try to make a move inside of Darrell Waltrip.
Oh, they touch. Trickle thought he had cleared it, but he had not. Waltrip, very smart, backed out. Now Labonte might go down on the inside of Waltrip as Waltrip goes high.
Bobby Labonte trying to take the point lead in Busch Series racing. This is the final lap. Earnhardt takes the win. Michael Waltrip will finish in 2nd spot. Todd Bodine is 3rd, but here's the battle for 5th spot.
But watch him slide up and Waltrip try to come back on the inside. That's a Dale Earnhardt trick. Darrell Waltrip knows it very well. But who will win the battle back to the line? I believe it will be Labonte.
Bobby Labonte, the Carl Wegner motor in that Oldsmobile, and he will finish in 5th spot and take the Busch Grand National Series point lead by a single point over Kenny Wallace. What a tremendous effort as Dale Earnhardt gives a big wave and a thumbs up to this tremendous crowd on hand for Busch Series racing, and they really enjoy racing here at Darlington, South Carolina. There's Michael Waltrip, who finished in 2nd spot in the Pennzoil Pontiac. Let's take a look one more time. They're taking the white flag here with 1 lap to go. Watch the black car of Dick Trickle try to move to the inside, as they will have contact together, he and Darrell Waltrip. White flag plate.
Yeah, he gets up beside him as they cross the start-finish line, but as they head down towards turn 1, he moves up and taps Waltrip. I don't know if he thought he had him cleared. Apparently he did, but he didn't quite have him cleared. Waltrip very wisely backed out of it, but it cost Waltrip. Even though he got back to the inside of the racetrack, he slipped high going into the turn. That's all Bobby Labonte needed. Move on the inside, take the position.
So Darrell Waltrip will finish 6th, Bobby Labonte 5th, and Dick Trickle in 4th. But Dale Earnhardt will go to victory lane. We'll hear from the Goodrich Chevrolet driver after this. Back at Darlington, South Carolina, the Gatorade 200 is history, and Dale Earnhardt has picked up win number 17 in Busch Series competition. Walking around, giving a good look at the Goodrich Chevrolet, and now he'll be down the eastern mile for our Benny Parsons.
What happened? You have a vibration? Well, the tire was vibrating just a little bit, but it worked pretty good. You know, as a good setup for the tire situation. Our car ran good all day, and you know, I'd like to thank Banjo and the guys for the snout they put on here, and Jack Tant for his engines, and the good Lord for a safe race, and all the Jim Goodrich people, and all my crew, Tony, and all the guys. They did a great job. You know, even Richard and Kirk, the guys helped us with information on this car.
Let me ask you something. How hot was it out there today? I've seen you've taken a bath and you've cooled off. Was it hot?
No, it wasn't bad. We've got the good cooling system in there. We're running wide open and keep the windows rolled down.
So let me ask you something. Another question. Did this teach you anything about tomorrow's Southern 500?
Yeah, you got to be consistent. We was real consistent. Harry struck out there after we got the tires and sort of took off and left us, but we ran a real consistent pace from that time on, and we caught him, passed him, and just drove off from him. And it's really just a consistent chassis and consistent pace, and driver remembering where he's at.
And that is where?
We're at Darlington today. I can remember this one.
You say a consistent car. How do you do that, Dale? Is it just luck, or do you prepare the car in practice to do that?
Well, we work on it during practice. Make tires. Real consistent on the tire temperatures, not pushing or not loose, because we knew the tires were going to wear even. The lefts and rights were just about the same. Had just a little bit more right rear right tire wear than the rest, but the car never got loose all day, so we could use that throttle when I needed to and was good.
Dale, congratulations on the super victory.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay, Bob Jenkins, are you still up there, or did you leave?
Hey, what's the deal here?
here. This is supposed to be my day off, and here I'm being pressed into service. Nice race, guys, and congratulations to Dale Earnhardt for a nice win here at Darlington. I've been up there on the roof baking in the hot sun and watching you guys and listening to you, and nice, safe race, and way to go.
Well, thank you, Bob. And, of course, Bob Jenkins, along with much of our crew, working most of the night to put together that Hall of Fame induction for David Pearson. And a tremendous race here, Ned Jarrett, for Dale Earnhardt. Now, Earnhardt, certainly no stranger here. We mentioned the fact that he picks up his second Gatorade 200 win, but he has won 7 times in Winston Cup cars at Darlington, including 3 Southern 500s, the last 2 in a row.
And I think he'll be one of the major threats tomorrow, Jerry, in the Heinz Southern 500. He has been out on the track during every practice run trying to get that car as consistent as he can. He said the key word there. Consistency here at Darlington is very, very important. Of course, you got to have a lot of patience as well. Dale Earnhardt has learned patience in recent years. That has not always been a characteristic of his driving style, but certainly in recent years he has learned to be patient, and it has resulted in wins.
We talked about patience and being a real thinking driver. That's what made David Pearson so successful here for his 10 wins. And Bob Jenkins, Dale Earnhardt has won 7 times. Do you think Earnhardt may be able to catch Pearson and maybe eclipse his record here at this tough track?
I'll tell you what, he certainly is on his way to doing so. You know, last night was so great for me because when I was growing up and watching and listening to NASCAR races, that number 21 and David Pearson were so synonymous with each other, and to attend the induction ceremony last night was a real thrill for me, and not only to see David Pearson inducted into the Hall of Fame, but also to see some of the guys again that I idolized when I was growing up. People like Herb Thomas, who of course was the first 3-time winner of the Southern 500 here. We had a conversation last night. It's just so great to attend ceremonies like that and see drivers that paid their dues, get their dues, and being inducted into the National Motorsports Press Association Hall of Fame. I can't wait for tomorrow because, you know, it's a Labor Day tradition, the Southern 500, and our live coverage at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. I think Earnhardt does indeed have a good shot of putting another Southern 500 win under his belt and continuing to climb to the top of the charts as far as
Dale Earnhardt has won the Gatorade 200. Back after this.